What's up YouTube? It's JP Dunphy, your BMW genius at BMW for Washington. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a walk around of BMW's new iDrive 8.5. Now, if you haven't heard about this before, this is replacing iDrive 8 in certain models that are coming out for the 2024 model year. It's also available for certain 2024 model years that are currently running iDrive 8, and we'll get this as an over-the-air update. And I have done in a previous video a list of that. If you want, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. But in the meantime, let's get you guys in and show you the main differences between iDrive 8 and iDrive 8.5. So, let's go. 8.5, when looking at it, is not really that much different. Where you're going to get the main differences when looking at this is going to be on your main bar down here. So this is, of course, your kind of action bar, if you will. And before, when you had 8.5, normal 8, you had to go through a couple menu options to get down there, and instead of having all these quick selects down here, you instead had only your climate menu options. But now, they've made this a lot simpler. So, I'm gonna break this down into a couple little sections, and of course I'll make a couple shorts on all this as well to find things in a quick and easy manner for people that are curious. But this is gonna be the overview video, so again, let's do that. So, let's start with the basics here. When we start up, this is now 8.5. This is your home screen. Now, a lot of people might know this from normal 8, that this would have been part of your standard setup when you're in your maps. However, you of course now have this action bar over here. This is sort of like your quick select options on here. Now, let me turn down the actual fan on this. So let's go into our fan options here. As you can see, this is a little bit different. We're now in the automatic mode. So actually, since I'm doing this, let's start with the HVAC system. So all of this stuff is now right here. As you can see, we have a different amount of lines depending on how strong it is blowing fan speed on each side. You have all the way through from 1 to 5 for both sides. And then, of course, you have the sync option, all of your quick options down here. If you switch to auto, it switches to this new view up here altogether. Now, you do when you do that, you have the passenger side and the driver side, respectively, on their own sides. You still can change how fast you want that fan speed to blow per side. As you can see, similar to the previous version below, the more lines you have, the stronger it is blowing. Likewise, 1 through 5 for your automatic setting. You can turn the whole thing off using this button over here, and you can of course synchronize using the other side. So I'm going to put this guy down a little bit lower. I'm also going to increase my temperature here. Now, something you might have noticed is if you had 8 and now switch to 8.5 is you no longer have your heated seats and heated steering wheel options in your climate menu. That's because now they're part of your quick select features. So now one touch here brings up your heated and ventilated seats and heated steering wheel right here on the main function. Now, if you have one of the newer systems, again, this is an X5, so it's still running the older style setup for the wheel itself, but the newer wheel setups like you have in the 7 Series and that have your instrument control, right here, a little tiny gear right there. That means that you have the newer one. If you have that, instead of having just a simple on and off switch for your heated steering wheel, you have a 3-stage version. So that's something to note for yourself. The passenger, of course, also gets their own version. Quick touch, bring right up. So you no longer have to dig through that system. The second you go back to your home button, the home screen, either through here or by pressing the home button in the center, it brings you right back to this. Now on the left side here, this is where you get most of your kind of quick views, so you never have to lose any of your main information up here. But this is where you have, for instance, music and devices. Scroll up and you see you have your little dots over here to let you know which part of the menu you're currently in. And then you have side swipe options on here as well. The entire point of this whole thing is to be kind of everything you need within one layer rather than having to go through multiple layers and menus to get to your options in here. So everything now is much easier. For instance, destination input, no problem. One touch here brings you straight to your destination input, and that makes that super easy. Everything is right there on the same page. You can also make a quick swipe for all of your recent input destinations right there as well. Swiping down, you have now, this is your kind of turn-by-turn directions. You can swipe to the right for your current positioning as well as your compass, and a mini version of the map. Now, the reason that you can get two versions of that is because swiping in from the right side, you can have a couple different options up here. Now, this changes between which car you're currently in, but each car can have its own little options on here. So you have your live video. This is that same one where if I put on the turn signal, it shows it right there as part of it. Navigation, and of course, media. Now, if you don't want any of those to be up there, navigation is the standard, but this is made so if you do decide to have, for instance, your live vehicle for electric vehicles or any other, you can have that running while still having your map right here. You can also, of course, change this map to be closer to whatever you have in your main map. Swiping through, let's go back over here and put this back to navigation. Swiping through, this is, of course, all of your vehicle information, where you have, for instance, how far you've driven, all of your vehicle status options right here, and of course your trip computers. Now this can be set to individual. You can of course touch right here and change exactly what part you want it to be. So if you didn't know, all these guys do have a built-in trip computer, and you have your individual one, which you can reset by using individual. You have since factory, since your last refuel, and since the start of trip, aka each day. So you no longer have to have trip computers to do it. We already have 4 built in with 1 customizable as you go. And that gives you all of your information right there. If you're looking for any changes in your instrument cluster, there are none. This is still exactly the same as it was before. And I have made a separate video, but if you want, I'll make another video on that again to update it with the latest bits and pieces for it. Coming back to here, scroll all the way to the top, and this is your personal assistant. You have 2 options for it. So you have an introduction or just a simple swipe there. Quick touch to talk. So that's if you want to have your personal assistant, that's BMW's personal assistant in here. You of course also activate that by quick touch right here to get it. If you have the head-up display, it shows up in your head-up display. If you have no head-up display, it shows up right here in your instrument cluster. And if the passenger talks, it shows up in the upper right-hand corner. Boop. Goodbye. So most people leave it right on this one right here. And you might notice if you're looking at the bottom line down here that you are currently missing something right over here. So you have 2 on this side, your 3 main ones right here, your home screen, your climate control, and your apps. I'll show you the apps in just a second. And then your phone on the right-hand side. Now the reason for that is normally these guys used to be on the left-hand side right here, and they've instead moved it all down here. Now the reason that guy right over here is open is because when you connect to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, that then shows that icon right there. If you want, I'll connect mine and then show you that in just a second. In hindsight, let's just show you how to connect it using this. So right here, you can connect device. This brings you directly in, and now I have to disconnect this guy so I can show you what it looks like after it's connected. And through the wonders of editing, we are now back, and my phone is now connected. Now, after you have your phone connected, you get a couple options that you didn't get before, and that brings up things like your recent calls, quick messages, adding a new device right then and there. So that's how you can add another device with there without having to go through a bunch of menu options. I mean, it's not that many, but still. And then, of course, your basic connection right here, letting you know I'm actually active to CarPlay. And as I said, now CarPlay is down here in the corner. When you use CarPlay, your main thing does stay active at the bottom, so you still have your main CarPlay options to the left-hand side over here, and everything else right here. Again, this guy stays on the bottom, just like in previous iDrive 8, which means that you now have an easier way to get to all of your functions right here, home screen, and even your apps, quick and easy like there before. Now, if you have not seen BMW's iDrive 8, this is the apps area. It's all the apps together. You have quick versions of on the side here where you can get your infotainment only or vehicle apps only in here. Now, I do not have an active account, so I cannot tell you whether or not this thing has BMW's Air console on it. Now, the X5 and X6 do have 5G personal eSIM standard in them, as well as the X7 and the 7 series as well. The new 5 series will have it as well as a standard feature that allows you to connect your phone to the car as an auxiliary, it connects your car to your phone plan as an auxiliary device. Basically, it's a data device. That's also how you get your personal hotspot in the car as well. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the easiest way to go about it. The whole point of 8.5 as the upgrade is now, instead of being a whole bunch of press twists and all that with down here, it now turns it into more of a phone style experience where everything is basically about swiping and tapping. Anything you see on here, you simply make it bigger and full screen by simply tapping. Second you tap, it becomes full screen, everything you're used to. Pressing the back button brings you right back to your main home screen. Here, if you want a full screen map, no problem. Tap, it becomes full screen. Here's your main map inputs. Tap the back button, bring you back to the home screen. So it gives you another way to get to the home screen where you used to have it, but also just keeps everything quick and easy on the bottom. You want CarPlay? No problem. Tap, here's CarPlay. Back to the home screen? No problem. Tap the home button, goes right back to where it was. So that's the main change that you get for iDrive 8.5, is really just your integration of everything in here, making an easier use for you as the user. Again, nothing has changed for your actual infotainment up here. All of it's down here. Next thing I'm going to do is give you a quick connect to, I'm going to connect my BMW ID. I'll show you how to do that real quick. So if you're getting this car for the first time, you have this, make sure the car is in park, add BMW ID, and now the way it works here is this is the QR code that you scan to get in, and it makes it a lot easier. So before they had it so you could, actually, yes, abort that for now. So they used to have it so that you could manually put it in, but now they expect you to have the My BMW app on your phone, and that's how you scan in. Again, touch the upper right-hand corner, add BMW ID. It takes you straight to scanning it through here. If you have not seen my previous video on how to scan in and log into your car using your My BMW app, please check out that video. Again, I'll leave that in the description below as well for you. So last but not least, I'm going to sign in here, and then I'm going to show you what gets added when you have that extra feature on here. So let's do so.
Just launched the Jonas.
Alrighty, so I got all that go away. So right now it's doing all the login stuff right there. Now that we are finally logged in, we're now getting the rest of our little key option right here. This is where you can tell it to automatically no, don't do it. Sorry, Katie, not right now. So another thing that's different here with this entire setup, now it's going to my personal settings. I do not want that, but thank you very much. And I need to stop this video for a second. Sorry about that. So, main parts that are different now is inside here, and now it automatically detects your main key that you connected to. Before you had to set a pin and then connect the main key. Let me turn down this guy right here. Thank you for playing. I'd rather sweat. Does all that. Now you still, when you activate things like your Digital Key Plus, you still search for the new key there, and that will add automatically. Or if you have the key card, you have to activate the key card and then do it down there. That has not changed from the previous ways to activate these cards, but now you have your pin option right there. You of course manage your driver profile, synchronize BMW ID, and change your name format. Now if you do need to change your name format, you as the customer have to call in to BMW customer services to do that change. They have changed it so that we cannot change it anymore for you, and stupidly enough, you can't change it within your own BMW ID. I think that's a bit of a mistake, but that's just my personal opinion. You can, of course, contact BMW themselves to mention that. Now, getting back to this, now that I have the BMW set up, if I go into here and scroll down through all of my apps, here's all the stuff in CarPlay and all of that. Now, I didn't activate anything here yet. As you can see, personal eSIM is not set up. Now, you do set up things like your personal eSIM for things like YouTube and all of that. In the 5 Series, you will have a separate setup for the Air console As to when Air Console will be making its way into the rest of these cars, I'm not entirely sure yet. I will figure that out for you. But the second that is available, I will absolutely let you know and make sure that is posted either in a short or in its own individual announcement altogether. So with that, that's kind of the rundown of iDrive 8.5 and the main changes for it. Everything else in terms of the apps itself, how it's set up in the apps, your quick use. Oh, sorry, there is one more thing that has changed. So the one thing that is different under here now is you have all of your apps, of course, your infotainment apps, vehicle apps itself, but now there's actually a recently used option. So when you start to go into your apps, you'll get all of your recently used ones there. One other thing that has also changed is now your quick select shortcuts. All of them are down here, quick and easy. So all of the recently used ones are now up top, notifications right there. And instead of before where you had only 4 shortcuts until you started adding more, now they're all available down here right off the bat. And you can, of course, add those. If you haven't seen in previous ones, if you ever want to add a shortcut, you basically find what you want to add. Say, I don't know, weather app, press and hold, and then release, and you can add it to shortcuts. Now, if you see your car has gesture controls, you can, of course, add one of 2 gestures. So you have 2 programmable gestures. Your first one is 2 fingers forward like this. Ta-da. That you can program to it, or you have the 505 gesture as well. In this case, I don't have anything set to it, so it's not going to any function. But those are the 2 programmable gestures. Everything else on here, gesture option right up there. If you don't have that little menu or that little window that you see up here, then you do not have gesture controls. But of course, normal gesture controls, swipe to the right for volume up, to the left for volume down. If volume is on, 2 fingers forward will mute. That's what I have mine set to. Of course, that is, again, programmable, so you can change it to whatever you want. And volume down, let's unmute again. Down, thank you. You can skip forward for the next thing. So let's go up here. Skip forward. Skip back. Pause. Last but not least, and whenever you have certain icons up there, you can 1 finger forward to select or swipe away to ignore. That's for when you have anything else coming in. Again, that's a separate thing altogether, but this is your overview of. That's it for today's video. Now, if you found this helpful, please, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. We just passed 8,000 subscribers and 5 million views on this channel. Thank you guys so much for that. Now, quite frankly, there are enough people here watching and viewing this that if you wanted to, if you hit that bell icon in the lower corner, I hate to beg for this kind of stuff, but I would absolutely love if we can get this to 100,000 subscribers. We have more than enough viewers to get there, and I know 97% of you guys are not subscribed. So if you don't mind, click that little bell icon in the lower corner and help us get to 100,000 subscribers. I would love to be the first BMW dealer to get there in the United States, and I'd love you guys to help me get there. If so, thanks so much. I will make a special video for that if we do get there. And yeah, so let's see if we can get there. I would love to see that happen before the end of this year and see if we can do it. So I need you guys to do that. You do not have to click any of the bell icons. Do not click any of the notifications. As long as you're subscribed, that makes a difference for me, and that helps me do more for you because I can get better equipment and content to make it happen. With that, thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day, and if you ever want to see anything else, let me know in the comments. Have a good one.